Welcome back, everybody. Day 3 of our 30 days to a better backswing. If you've just joined and you want to see day 1, day 2, head over to our app by searching GOLFZON LEADBETTER on the Google Play or App Store. As always, I'm here with Jonathan Moore from the Grace Institute. Today, he's going to start looking at the movement of the hips, the movement of the pelvis. I can't emphasize enough, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, how important this area of our body is, this area of the golf swing is. As a coach, we need to understand what we require from the body, how the body is actually moving to be able to help our students. If you're a player, this is often the area. If we learn to move it correctly, if we learn to get loaded at the top of the backswing, can make the difference to our game, provide the solutions to the issues we're having. So it's an important area. Let's take a look at what Jonathan's got to say.
I'm going to move down to another part of the body that's every bit as important, and that's the hips, okay? So what we're thinking about today is we're thinking about really getting a good stretch and good mobility in this right hip, okay? Which, we call that our trail hip in our golf swing, right? That ability to really kind of rotate and get a good load into that back hip there, okay? How we're going to do that is we're going to use this lunge. We're going to use a lunge where you take your toe and you point it on around like this, okay? So you take that left foot, bring it on around like that. If I'm hitting golf balls that way, you can see I'm taking my toe right on around towards you right there, and you're gonna get there and you're just gonna hold, okay? So you go golf posture. You can do this with the club in your hand. You can take it right on up to the top of your swing. And now from there, what you're gonna do is my belly button, okay, if my buckle of my belt is pointed this way, I'm gonna move my hips forward and backwards. And I'm gonna really emphasize the backwards movement, okay, where I'm pushing my hips back there, okay? And I'm gonna try to get a little further back each time. And then from there, okay, this would be perpendicular to that direction. I'm gonna move my hips side to side in this manner right here. And I'm gonna be really emphasizing the back motion again, okay? So now I'm moving side to side, and you're gonna really feel the tension building up right there in the back part of your hip. Okay, and then from that back position, now add a squat. So you're gonna raise up a little bit, squat into it, raise up to it, and squat into it, raise up and squat into it, okay? You can do somewhere between 5-10 repetitions each way, okay? Kind of build up to it as you go, but what you're really gonna feel is you're gonna feel this great mobilization right here in that backside of your hip, which is so important for being able to make a really good, powerful wind up. It really is maybe one of the most important parts of your body for making a great backswing. So give that one a try next time you're on the range. It acts as a great drill, honestly, where if you're not hitting it that good one day, just step away from the golf balls for a moment, go through that, and come back out, and you'll be surprised. You might start hitting it a lot better, because it just makes sense. If you can get a better load throughout this backside of your hip, you can explode better onto the golf ball, and you're gonna find you're gonna hit a lot better shots. So stay tuned to the next day.
I love this exercise Jonathan has just shown us. It's something I use a lot myself because I'm tight in my hips. So, before I hit some balls, just going through this motion, one, it improves my range of motion, but it also gives me that feeling of being loaded into the right hip. It gets me moving on these 3 different planes without actually having to think about 3 different movements. Of course, yeah, every movement, we're always moving in these 3 different planes, but good golfers aren't thinking that. It's a feeling, it's a whole movement, and this exercise can provide that for us. I really believe that for most golfers out there, this should be part of your daily toolkit, something you're doing as an exercise at home to improve the range of motion, the strength of the motion, and the stability. It can be something you use as a warm-up. It can be something even when you're on the golf course and you've lost your feel a little bit, just to stand on the tee box while your playing partners are hitting a few shots and regain your feel for loading up in the backswing. As Jonathan said, it really can give your feel back and get you striking the ball better again. So what might you be looking out for in your own swing, and how might you relate that to this exercise? So let's say you're a player, when you video your swing and you see your right hip from setup to the top of the backswing move closer to the target. So when you're doing this exercise, this movement Jonathan showed us moving on this plane, a little bit of lateral movement to the hips. This is the area of the exercise you need to tune into, how that movement gets you loaded into the right hip. Contrary to that, we see players in the backswing, they actually sway too much and their right hip is further away from the target than what it was in the backswing. That's a little bit of a stability issue, and you also might not be getting the rotation. So try to tune yourself into, when you're making this exercise, that rotation of the right hip. Rotation, and then when you're moving on these planes, yes, we're moving that way, but we've also got to be stable. We're moving, we brace, we've got that stability feeling in the hip. You combine good rotation with stability, that'll stop this movement where it's just a slide to the right, often staying back on your right foot, making it difficult to make good contact. From this angle, and this is really common, where players in their backswing, if they had a line on their glutes, you'll actually see the pelvis moving away from that line. Really common amongst the amateur golfers, because we're not making these movements in anything else in life, the combination of these three movements. So tune yourself into all three, actually. Tune yourself into the rotation, tune yourself into that little bit of the lateral flexion and the flexion of the hips. All three of these will give us the feeling of being loaded into that glute. And when you just take yourself there, you do the reps that Jonathan's suggesting. Like before, you want to do 10 on each plane and then take a rest and then do 5 on each plane. When you do that, you start to improve the mobility for the movement, the stability, the strength, and also just a sense of where you want to be. So then I take that back to my normal setup. I can now feel myself loading into that glute, moving in all three planes with just a simple feel, not a complicated thought. So I think this is one of the great exercises. I think this should be part of most players' toolkit, as they say, they can do at home, on the driving range warm-up, or even on the course. See you tomorrow.